you never forgive her? I feel like that's actually something every teenage girl says. So the question is this justified or is this just a teenage experience? Happy apple picking day! I'm still recovering from the flu. I'm so sorry I wasn't around last week. As you can hear, I'm still sick. I was that sick that over a week later, I still can't talk. But I just didn't have it in my heart to skip 2 weeks of Bad Apple. So because we've been gone for a while, let's go back over our reminders. If you want a chance for your stories to be featured on Am I the Bad Apple, you can send them to my subreddit, r/amithebadapple. And as a reminder, we all come from different branches of the apple tree. And what that means is we've all lived different lives and we have different experiences. Those experiences are going to shape how we internalize things, the boundaries that we set, what we deem acceptable or unacceptable in our lives. And that's going to look very different for every single person. So there's going to be a lot of times where you disagree with people in the comments. You're going to disagree with me. Maybe there's a point that you're stuck on, but I'm stuck on a completely different point. That happens. So without further ado, let's get started with this week's episode of Am I the Bad Apple? Let's go apple picking. Apple number 1. Am I the bad apple for telling my boyfriend the food was fine? So my boyfriend made dinner and it was chicken breast with some white rice, a salad with garlic, some pickles and beetroot on the side from jars. And when we sit down to eat, he asks, "How was it?" I said, "Fine. There's nothing special. Everything tastes as it should." Well, then he got upset and he said, "Well, I added extra garlic in the lettuce and soy sauce on the breast, but I couldn't really taste that difference." And he admitted that he couldn't really taste it either. I said, "I'm not used to making comments about food like in his family. When we eat with his family, everyone has to say something along the lines of, 'Oh, how delicious. This was so tasty. Yum, oh, thank you,' at every meal. In my family, we find that kind of fake. We just sit down and talk about other things. And if there was something new in the food, then that would be a normal question to ask, how was this new addition? But my boyfriend got really upset because I should have just said, it's great or it's good instead of a normal and not very enthusiastic, it's fine, everything tastes as it should. He proceeded to pick up his plate and left to go eat in the office. I don't feel like partaking in a family tradition I don't feel is natural. I feel like I'm being forced to say something that I don't care about or I don't believe in. It's chicken breast and white rice. I mean, am I the bad apple for not making a bigger deal out of a simple meal? Or is he overreacting? See, here's the thing. It's not that anyone's looking for you to be fake. It's that people are looking for appreciation. Like the fact that you think it's fake to say, "Oh, this is good. Thank you for making dinner." Like it's not about something being simple. It's that someone went out of their way to make dinner for you and you don't seem to really care. Like it seems expected. You can say thank you. You can say, "Oh, this is great. Thank you for making dinner. It's great that we have dinner." Okay, you don't think it's the best thing you've ever tasted in the world. This is great that we have dinner. It's great. The fact that it pains you to show somebody appreciation for making you dinner is weird. It's entitled. I think it's weird that you think it's a big deal to just compliment someone and thanking them for making food. Like no one wants you to be fake. People want you to actually be appreciative. I would almost compare it to like if a wife came out all done up and, "How do I look?" "Oh, you look fine." And I would compare it to that, but I don't even think that's a fair comparison because when you're getting all done up, part of you're not doing that for anybody, but when he's making you dinner, he's making food for you. Like he's doing you a service. I'm so baffled that someone genuinely feels so entitled to their partner making them food that they can't even muster a genuine thank you. Like you can't even do a genuine thank you, this is great. "Oh, thank you for making dinner. It tastes good. This is better than eating beans out of a can." Is it not better than eating beans out of a can? Great. It's chicken breast and white rice. If it's not that big of a deal and you're fine with simple meals, go get a lean cuisine. Go eat beans out of a can. If it's that difficult for you to show any little bit of appreciation to someone doing something for you, then don't have them do things for you. It doesn't feel good to go out of your way for somebody and, "Oh, well, I mean, it's fine. It is how it should be. That feels like crap. Why would he want to keep making you dinner? Like, cooking is a lot of effort. I hate cooking because I hate the effort of having to cook. I would be so appreciative if, I'm not gonna lie, okay, fun fact. There's this girl that went to my college, and this sounds like really like posh, and it's not as posh as it sounds, I promise. I'm not a fancy person, but there's this girl that went to my college, and she has this business where like people that are just really busy during the week or whatever, you know, like she basically like, I hate labeling it this because it sounds so fancy, like private chef. But like, she just comes and like makes the food for the week, like she meal preps for the week. And it's actually really affordable. Like, y'all know that I've been doing those Factor things before, right? And it's actually more affordable for me to have her come and cook. Like, I've just had no motivation to cook during the week. And it's more affordable for me to have her come and cook food for the week and me to have it. And it's also been helping like with my eating disorder and stuff, like to just have ready food and fresh food in the fridge for me. And even her, like, the point is, I pay her and still every day I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you. Like, this is so good. You're my lifesaver. You're my hero. I don't know what I would do without you. And like, I'm paying her to do a service. This is your boyfriend who's like going out of your way to make food for you because he wants to make food for you. He wants to nourish your body. He wants to take care of you. And you can't even like be grateful for that? That's weird to me. That's weird to me. I'm going bad apple. And it's not even that like, well, should I just be fake? No, people just want you to be appreciative, like genuinely appreciative, like the bare minimum of what people are asking. And I don't think that's excessive. Apple number 2. Am I the bad apple for not bringing anything to the potluck? One of my close friends hosted dinner at her place last weekend, and she called it a potluck. She sent a group text to everyone saying that we should all bring something small, drinks, snacks, whatever. It wasn't anything fancy, just casual. I asked her, what should I bring? 'Cause I'll be coming straight from work and I might be kind of rushed. She replied I didn't need to worry about it. She had plenty of food and just wanted me to come. So I didn't bring anything. I showed up, said hi to everybody, and honestly, the night was going fine. People brought a lot of stuff. There's salads, cupcakes, bottles of wine. I was planning to just help clean up or do dishes since I didn't bring anything, and I figured she meant what she said. But later on, well, people were complimenting the food. She made this offhand comment like, well, not everybody contributed, but we're so glad she showed up. Everyone laughed and it didn't seem super serious, but I felt my face getting hot and I didn't know how to respond. I stayed polite and tried not to act weird about it, but I felt really uncomfortable the rest of the night. On my way home, I kept thinking about it. I get that maybe she was a little annoyed, but she literally told me not to bring anything. And now I feel like she put me on blast in front of people for something I didn't even do wrong. I haven't said anything to her yet because it feels small and I don't want to be dramatic, but I also can't shake the feeling that it wasn't fair. So am I the bad apple? I feel like this is a story that is gonna have a lot of different answers from different kinds of people. I think people's answers to this story is really going to depend on their family dynamics and how they do things and how many potlucks they've been to and things like that. I already can tell a lot of people are not going to necessarily agree with mine, and that's okay. I'm leaning crabapple, and I'm gonna tell you why. I can already feel people getting upset about it, but just hold on, just hear me out for a second. Do I agree with the fact that if someone says, hey, don't worry about XYZ, don't worry about it? Yeah, if they mean that, then like, don't say it if you don't mean it. I stand by that, I do. If someone says, hey, come to my house, help yourself, I think it would be weird for someone to get mad if someone had extra XYZ, whatever. Like if you say help yourself, you mean help yourself. If you say don't bring anything, you mean don't bring anything. So like the friend, for sure, like if she didn't mean, hey, don't bring anything, I think she should have said don't bring anything. Now just reading it, do I feel like there could have been some kind of miscommunication? Yes, I do. And the reason that I'm saying that is because of my own experience that I've had. Because when I was still married to Avery, and all his family lived like all out yonder, like hours away, and whenever they would do, you know, Thanksgiving, for example, it would be a potluck style. And when we're driving hours and hours away, it's a little bit more difficult to have like hot and ready food in the car with us and have it still be hot and ready and good and fresh by the time we got there. So there were times that we would be in charge of bringing plates or napkins or drinks or things that like didn't need to be fresh right then and there, right? So when she said, hey, we have plenty of food, I assume, and again, I know we don't do a lot of assumptions. I know we don't do that. But I'm saying that this is how I'm internalizing the story. When she said that her friend said, we've got plenty of food, I'm wondering if it's very possible that like the friend was like, you don't need to worry about food, we got plenty of food, and then expected the friend to pick up something like napkins or plates or cups, paper cups, something along those lines. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm not saying that's what happened, because again, we don't make those kinds of assumptions. We can like internalize something a certain way without like saying, oh, this is what happened, because we don't actually know. I'm assuming that's possible. And then the OP just assumed, she told me not to worry about food, so I'm not gonna worry about food. And thought that meant like, don't worry about anything. That's possible. We don't know. The reason that like I don't agree with it is because, and this is again just like the way that my mom raised me. If you're going somewhere with a party, with an outing, everyone's bringing stuff, like don't show up empty-handed. I would already have it in my mind in the text, hey, I'm coming right from work. Would it be helpful if I brought some plates? Would it be helpful if I stayed after to clean up? Like I know that you said I just assumed I'd stay to clean up, but did the host know that? Like when you are doing a big gathering, you contribute something. Like no one wants to be that friend that never contributes. You know what I mean? So I think that like verbalizing that you wanted to contribute in some way would have made all the difference. And I'm not saying that the friend was right in calling you out. I'm not saying they were right in saying don't worry about it. Like I definitely don't think the friend handled it either. I would go bad apple on the friend. Like I 100%, if you say don't bring anything, or you give the implication of don't bring anything, even in general, even if she didn't say that to call someone out in front of everybody, oh, well, not everybody contributed, I don't like that. I don't agree with the friend. I would go bad apple for the friend. But that doesn't mean that I don't love the idea that like the go-to with OP's mindset wasn't, okay, but what can I contribute anyways? And like, it would be very different for me if it was communicated of, oh, I'm strapped on cash. My budget is a little tighter this month. I don't know if I can pay to bring food for all these people. That would be so much more understandable for me, but like, oh, well, I'm coming from work. Well, like, you're not the only one that works, Everyone's coming from work if this is midweek. If there are other people in the world that work on the weekends, like there's probably a good number of people coming from work that are still trying to do something. So the idea that it wasn't like and again, I know OP said, well, I just figured that I'd help clean up. Well, like, then say that. Like, make it known to your friends that you want to contribute, that you want to be a part of, It's like the story beforehand. People just like to feel validated and appreciated. Proper communication on all ends, from the friend, from OP, like that would have been so much better. Now, when it comes to the friend's comment, there's two things in my brain. Is this just a passive-aggressive friend that's like, you say this is a close friend? That's a really passive-aggressive comment. I don't love that they were putting you on the spot in front of everybody. So then the question is that just the kind of friend this person is? Or is this a repeat occurrence? Are you always the friend that isn't contributing something? And I don't know. I don't have enough information. But that's what makes me kind of like hesitant. You know what I mean? It just makes me cautious. I don't know which one it is. But like something isn't right. You know what I mean? And so that's why it kind of bothers me that it wasn't said, oh, well, I would still like to do something. Let me help you clean up. Or I would still like to do something. Can I bring napkins? Can I bring cups? So that's what makes me kind of go crab apple on that one, because something just doesn't feel right in that regard. And it could just be that this is like not a great friend and they're making you feel bad. And in that case, like, things still should have been communicated, but like by everybody, you know what I mean? And then maybe that's not the friend for you, if they're just calling you out and making you look bad in front of people for no reason all the time. You know, there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of unanswered questions, but that is my thought process so far with the information that I have. Apple number 3. Am I the bad apple for making things difficult for my ex? My ex and I split close to 2 years ago. We have a 12, 8, and 4-year-old who I have full-time custody of, and my ex has every Friday from 4 p.m. until Saturday at 8 p.m. He pays no child support. I mean, he owes a lot, but he just doesn't pay. And I pay for everything that the kids need throughout the year, including school supplies, uniforms, sports stuff, extracurriculars, etc., etc., etc. Typically, when my ex picks up the kids from school on Friday, he'll swing by my house and grab the bags I've packed that have pajamas, toothbrushes, clothes, shoes, everything for the kids for their time with him. And he just returns the bags full of dirty uniforms and clothes when he drops them off for me to wash. Last week, we had an argument because I told him he needed to buy clothes for the kids for his house, as I was sick of packing them bags and having to wash it all again when he drops them off. He says he shouldn't have to. He bought the kids clothes and toys when we were together, and he didn't take any when we were separated, so I owe him half the kids' clothes. So I gave them to him. Not the clothes that they have now that I've bought them in recent months as they've grown. I gave him half the clothes the kids were wearing when we separated. So the sizes 2, 5, and 10 clothes that I've had stored in the garage, that's what he got. He wanted the clothes that he bought. There you go. Now my ex is bombarding my phone, texting me, insulting me, saying I'm a horrible person for it, and I'm making his life so much more difficult, and I owe him still, blah, 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 blah. I'm just such a horrible mom. So, am I the bad apple? I have found that people who don't really contribute to their households tend to cope by convincing themselves they've done more than they actually have. And I think that this guy's freak out had more to do with the fact that reality was kind of smacking him in the face of how little he's actually done for his children, if that makes sense. And that can sometimes make people very defensive, right? I don't think you did anything wrong. You're right. He doesn't pay child support. He doesn't pay for anything. He gets them, for 24 hours a week? A little bit more than that, a couple extra hours more, 28 hours a week. I think showing him the little clothes, how it just illustrated to him how far away and how long it's been since he's actually contributed for them. And I think that's why he's freaking out. He's battling that delusion with the reality in his brain. Because a lot of people who do that, they get very defensive when reality smacks them in the face. No, there's no reason that their dad can't buy them clothes to wear once a week. You can get 2 or 3 outfits for each kid to just have there and rotate them out when you swap kids. That's the bare minimum. You're not even doing the bare minimum. The bare minimum is child support, and he's not even doing that. So no, I think you talk to your lawyer and you get that child support, for sure. What? At a bare minimum, if you're not interested in doing that, at a bare minimum, I think you leave the option to him and you say, hey, you can either do this little task that I asked of you, or I'm coming for the full amount of the child support. Those are your options. Which would you rather? I think you demand both, personally. But I understand situations with exes can be very volatile when they're feeling very defensive. So I understand if that's not something that you want to deal with, because it's exhausting. I get that. I'm a good apple. There's nothing wrong with that request. Literally nothing. Well, I bought them toys years and years ago that they probably don't play with anymore. But I contributed that one time. We have kids and they're alive forever. But I one time bought them a toy. I'm good. What? That's the most deadbeat mentality. My God. Apple number 4. Am I the bad apple for telling my mom I'll never forgive her if she messes up my adoption? I, 14 female, have been living with my aunt, my mom's sister, since I was 8. It was originally because of an issue with my mom's ex-boyfriend, and CPS placed me with my aunt, and they used to tell me that my mom couldn't handle 4 kids as a single mom, so I had to stay with my aunt until they figured things out, and then I just ended up not hearing from my mom for 4 years. My aunt has been trying to adopt me for years. We're finally able to try and get my mom's parental rights terminated because she didn't speak to any of us or send money or anything for, again, 4 years. I really like living with my aunt. On Tuesdays, we go out to eat. She says we can take turns choosing the restaurant, but I really get to choose almost every week. On Fridays, we order pizza and we watch movies and eat ice cream in our pajamas on the couch. When I started middle school, she started taking me to get my nails done with her, so now we do that every Saturday, and at least once a month, sometimes more, during summers and school breaks, we get to visit her condo in the mountains. There's a little beach, and the past couple of years, she's been letting me hang out with my friends or alone by the beach or downtown or at the pool or wherever, as long as I keep my location on my phone and I'm home by the time it gets dark. After my mom got notice that her rights were going to be terminated, she got in contact with my aunt and she started emailing my old email address saying she misses me and she wants to see me. She sent me photos of her new family and she's sending my aunt money so that she can say she's part of my life and taking care of me. My aunt told me not to contact my mom yet and to let her to take care of everything. I listened for a while, but then my mom sent me a picture of a bed at her house with a bunch of shopping bags on it and said that that's my bed and she had presents for me and she couldn't wait for me to come home. I emailed her back and told her that I don't want to live with her. I haven't seen her or talked to her in 4 years, and I don't even know half the people in the photos she keeps sending me. I also said that I really love living here, and that if she messes up my adoption, I'll never forgive her, and I'll never speak to her again after I turn 18 and I'm able to leave. Well, then my mom called my aunt crying about what I said, and my aunt got mad at me because she told me not to contact my mom, and now I'm wondering if I was the bad apple for contacting her when I wasn't supposed to and being rude, and I don't know. Am I the bad apple? I think this is another one that people are gonna have different opinions on, and again, it's really gonna come down to experience. And so just hear me out for a second. I'm kind of teetering between bad apple and crab apple because, and it's like if I go bad apple, it's gonna be like a very soft bad apple, you know, like just a little mushy, like nothing that you want to eat, but just a little too mushy. And the reason is because the reason that your aunt got mad at you, the reason that the aunt's mad, it has nothing to do with, oh, I hurt the mom's feelings, I'm being rude, blah, 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 blah. It's because legal situations can be very delicate, right? Very delicate. Especially when all of your communication happens over written, I can't even think of what word I'm thinking of right now, but you know what I mean. When there's like a written evidence of everything that's said. It's not just talking in person where things can be he said, she said. You're in the middle of a legal battle where I'm assuming mom has an attorney, I'm assuming mom has a lawyer, and those lawyers are going to take any little bit of communication that you send to her and analyze anything to try and find a way to make sure that your mom gets custody of you. Everything. That's why your aunt's saying don't contact her. Don't say anything. Don't respond. Nothing. Because especially as a young kid, even though it wouldn't be on purpose, you never know if any words that you say can be used against you in a legal technicality. You just don't know. And I understand that it's not something that younger people would understand. And it's something that even adults who maybe never experienced, you know, whether it's a divorce or a child custody thing or whatever, that it's not something that you think about. But for those that have had to think about such things, it's not that you're a bad person. It's not that you shouldn't have been rude to your mother. It's that any little bit of contact you give to her, you could be jeopardizing your adoption. That's why she's told you not to say anything. So I think I'm going to go bad instead of crab, only because a child who's been abandoned by a parent deserves to be heard. If they need that frustration vented, that deserves to be heard. I stand by that. I, at the same time, believe that although it can be very difficult for people to change, I do believe that people can change. And I don't have enough information to really gauge like how serious mom is, or, you know, I don't know. I don't know if she's actually making real changes in her life. I don't know if she's just kind of in the heat of the moment because like she got this notice. I don't know. I don't even know if mom is fit to have this kid as her child. Like, I don't know if she's fit as a mother. I don't know. I don't know anything about her. But I feel like if mom was sending all these messages and you were just initially like caught off guard and frustrated and upset and then you vented, I would go crabapple. But because she was reaching out and reaching out and reaching out and reaching out, and then it was when she spent all this money to get your room set up and made up with all these new presents and blah, 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 and that's when you threw it in her face. Like, I'm not saying mom didn't deserve it, but I'm saying that like when you're in the middle of a legal situation and your aunt said not to say anything, and all the time that you've been abandoned by your parent, this to me, and again, like I could just be off base because I don't understand. But to me, like when it comes to, you know, actions speak louder than words. To me, when it looks like this was like the first real little bit of effort that your mom did put towards being a better parent, not that you have to accept that. Like, I don't know, I can't think of how to explain it to where it doesn't come off as I think that like mom's entitled to get a second chance, because I don't believe that. Like the timing of everything just like, it creates the perfect storm. I think that if everything was just starting and she just got the notice and was just starting to contact you and you just got flustered and reacted, I could go crabapple. I think that if, you know, it was years down the line, legal battle's over, and you wanted to throw it in her face that you don't even know these people that she's talking to you about, that you don't want any of these presents, okay. There's just so many little issues that I just think that like time and place, this was not the time or the place. And again, it's soft crabapple. Like, I don't think you're a bad person, but this was definitely not the right move. Especially because I don't know everything that you said to her. I don't know if you said something that her lawyers might be able to find some kind of technicality. Acknowledging how much she's been sending you photos and trying to contact you and buying you all these things, that actually is something that her lawyers might be able to use to say, oh, see, she is trying, her daughter just isn't receptive to it. Not that that really matters legally. Like, legally, if she's trying, she's trying. Like, now your aunt cannot say, what's your name, Sally? I don't know. Sally has not spoken to her mom in 4 years. She can't say that now. So I actually do think that you've added some fuel to the legal fire for your mom. And that's why, again, it's soft bad apple. I know you didn't mean it, but I think that the consequences that could come from this are a little too drastic and severe to just go crabapple. Like, it's a bad apple of a, you're not a bad person, but actions do have consequences, and these consequences could be exactly what you didn't want to happen. And sometimes letting people know how severe their bad choices were is the only way to really get that through their head. So it's not like a, we're mocking you, we hate you, blah, 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 blah. It's, we just need you to understand how serious this is. That, you know what I mean? Like, you can tell someone that they made the wrong choice and that this was a bad move. And it's not that we want you to feel like a terrible person. We just want you to understand what this means. So that's my reasoning for that, if that makes sense. All right, so in total, I got 2 bad apples, a good apple, and a crab. At least that's what I got. I would love to know if you got anything similar or different and why you chose differently. I always love to hear the whys. Oh my God, I didn't plan this. I really didn't. Today's National Purple Day? Purple Up Day? I don't know what that means. I didn't know. I really didn't know. Oh, Purple Up Day is Military Child Day. Okay, I didn't know that. I just saw Purple Up Day. I was like, well, okay. National Glazed Spiraled Ham Day. That sounds phenomenal, actually. I do love me a glazed ham. And National Titanic Remembrance Day. Okay, so I'm not a military child, so obviously that's not my day. But I think it would be very reasonable to enjoy remembering the Titanic. I've been loving seeing those TikToks about like the new photographing they've been doing with all the technology with the Titanic recently. Enjoying that content while eating a glazed ham. That sounds good. That's what I'm doing today. What are you guys celebrating today? Let me know down in the comments. As always, if you want a chance for your stories to be featured in Am I the Bad Apple, you can send them to my subreddit, r/amithebadapple. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Hopefully next week my voice will be a little bit more back to normal. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye, my lovelies. Mwah.